I always say that my podcasts are off the cuff, but today I think is really, really going to be off the cuff because normally I have a thought, a theme, something that just comes up, and today I don't. And the reason is because I'm feeling really deeply vulnerable today, and these days have been really hard, really, really challenging. And so I thought, okay, I believe in walking my talk. I believe in showing up authentically. I'm not going to put a happy face on for you all today. So let's just begin with at least where I am in this moment and maybe talk about when times are hard. So let's dive into that and let's see what comes up. This is Corinne Bloom, and you're listening to Raw Conversations. I don't know what it is about July, but I would say the last 7 years, July has been a really challenging month for me. I have no idea why. Maybe the heat where I am. Someone said that like almost every planet is in retrograde, and I think that tends to happen every July. So, there's external factors and it feels a little bit like everyone's in a pressure cooker. And I think now more than ever, as I've been sharing, we're in this massive transition that is just lingering and dragging on and on and on. And there's a lot of stuff going on, But I personally, I don't know, in the last several days, I've been really down or really up and down. And part of that is, due to external factors. But it's like yesterday I just hit the wall. I hit the wall. And it's funny, I have this app called The Pattern, which is based on your astrology. And I think with all of these things, you take it with a pinch of salt, but it's eerily correct sometimes. So, I felt like I'd really hit the wall, and then I get like my daily insight, and it's like, you might feel like you've hit the wall. And I'm like, what? You're reading my mind. So I thought, okay, at least I have the confirmation. I haven't lost my marbles. Not that I need the confirmation, but yeah. So yesterday I really felt like I hit a wall, and I haven't written in a long time. I used to write a lot on social media and share a lot, and I haven't in recent years because I found that the world is like too harsh and too uncaring, and I wrote yesterday saying, well, what's the point of adding my voice to the cacophony of opinions out there? Sometimes I'm even like, is this valuable to anyone? Or is this just, another thing to listen to, another opinion, another voice? And so again, all I can really do is try and stay as authentic as possible. But yeah, I haven't shared because of all those reasons, but yesterday I decided to write something, and I decided to dare to be vulnerable. And, whenever I do, it's really amazing to receive this support. And, there was a beautiful comment that I felt she was really saluting me for being so courageous, so brave, to share. And that's such a beautiful experience because, as I've always felt and believed, that when we're in our vulnerability, we allow others to be in their vulnerability. And there's always connection that comes through that, really heartfelt, heart-centered connection. And it's such a beautiful experience. And so I remind myself that the risk is worth it because, of course, you get the people that anyone that's in the limelight is going to have rotten tomatoes thrown at them. I was told that when I was 15, 16 years old. They're like, you're going to be in the limelight. You got to be okay with having rotten tomatoes thrown in your face. Yeah, but like hitting the wall. I've lived in a place now for quite a while, and for the last several years, I've really felt like it's not where I'm meant to be anymore. And yet, I am just not getting any clarity as to which direction, how, where. Like the where, what, I know the why, but the where, what, how is just not presenting itself. And And, yesterday, after reading the Daily Insight and even just tuning in to myself, I thought, well, I just have to fucking let go. Like, I've been trying so hard. And that's a really tough spot, because when you're hitting a wall, there's going to be a part of you that wants to move through it. And then there's another part that's like, okay, you're hitting a wall, so maybe stop and step back a little bit so that you can create a little bit of space so that you can see. Maybe you have to, I think about the bee on the window, right? You have one pane, one side of the window open and the other is shut, and they're like crawling up and, desperate to get out. And you're like, here, little dude, like just come a little bit over to the right. And then there's the whole big world out there. And like, I'm trying to help you. And it's like, no, I'm stubbornly dedicated to just going up this window pane. And they can do it for like a half an hour sometimes before they kind of figure it out, or I somehow help them get around the corner. But I feel like we're doing that a lot of the times. It's like we think we can see, or so, right now I feel like I'm in the bloody dark, to be honest. But like sometimes it really is just turning to the right, and all of a sudden, there's a whole different opening. Or I think of it as like the labyrinth, that we're not just hitting a wall, but it's a redirection. But the thing is that I've been acutely aware of this for years now. And I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm trying to let go. I feel like I'm trying to surrender and trust, and I'm open for the call. Like my human design, apparently I'm a wait to respond. So there's an invitation, an opportunity, something that arises, and I will respond to it. And I've taken many risks in my life. I have no issue taking a risk. But if there isn't something that's like, here, I don't know, I don't even know where to begin, and I'm very intuitive and very feeling based. So I often get a feeling, and I have such a strong feeling that I'm not meant to be here, but literally no other feeling as to where else to go. And I think many of us, from what I hear as feedback, many of us are in this position. Because we're in this transition. And, one person that commented that she's tried everything. She's tried to look at it from different angles. She's tried to see, like, is it something within her? Is it the outside? Is it expected? It was so beautifully written. And it's like you exhaust everything and you're still fucking running up against the wall. And she shared that she had a good cry. And I had a really tearful day yesterday, and I took myself to the sea, because nature for me, and especially the sea, is always my medicine. That and music. Today I've been doing lots of singing. But it's like this, I find myself like yesterday, it's like, what do you want of me, life? What do you want of me, universe, or my higher self? What the fuck? Literally. Like I'm trying, and then it's like, okay, I'll let go of the trying and I'll just be. And then somehow I'm thinking, well, is that not letting go enough? I don't know what it is. And it's a really, really hard place to be. And at times it feels very hopeless. And the other day I almost had a panic of like, wow, I'm pretty good at being. My whole perception of life, I don't have the same, like, I need to achieve this and I need to reach this goal. And I'm much more grounded and relaxed. And yet what it is that I want is meaning. I want meaning in my life. I want vitality. I want inspiration, spontaneity, creativity. I want to be in a place where the energy for all of that is abundant, that people want to create together. And I live in a place that is the energy is very dense. It's very stagnant. It's a mountain. There's primarily just an older population. So there are very few people that are in my age bracket. They're either old or they're teenagers that haven't left home yet. And you never meet new people because it's a really tiny population, and it's kind of very isolated, and it's very old-fashioned and conservative. And so as someone that longs for adventure and depth and creativity and, to create new things, it's like imprisoning. And so you could say, okay, great, move, Corinne, just move. And that's my thing is, well, I don't know where. And it's complicated. I'm in a complicated situation because I have a child and an ex-husband, and there's many different moving parts, and it's not to say it's not possible, but there's just many different factors. But it really is, I think I know a lot of people that are like, I know that here doesn't feel right, but I don't know where there is yet. I can't see it. I can't feel it. I can't sense it. I can't hear it. And so we're in this limbo, and it's easy to fall into bouts of depression, or to lose hope, or to feel sad, or to feel frustrated, or to feel angry, to not know what's going on and why. And I do believe that on a higher level, there's a lot going on. And it's kind of like, you probably have heard, some of you have heard the trust the process. But, and I think we're in a time where there's a lot of unraveling. And it's interesting because what I find around this time of year is it's like, it's kind of confronting. I've had a couple things with different friends where there's been kind of confrontation, or the need to clarify, the need to communicate, and it's been kind of uncomfortable. I have a lot of friends that are like, wow, Corinne, how did you get so good at communicating? Years of fucking practice, man. Years. And trying not to shy away from conflict, because of course it's deeply uncomfortable and it sucks, but you just have to try and stay with it. And it's humbling and painful sometimes and frustrating, but I feel like it always leads us to a better place, and sometimes it's like we need to shed a skin. We need to revitalize a friendship, a relationship, a project, all of these things. And so sometimes, I don't know if hitting the wall is like a time of reassessment. Don't keep on pushing in that direction. Again, I can just relay it. I can only put it in the context of my experience right now. It's like, okay, but I don't want to just sit and be, because I can't keep on doing this anymore. It's literally starting to make me panic, because the days and months and years are passing, and I feel like I live in the Truman Show. And I want to step off the set. It's like it's Groundhog's Day. Every day is the same thing. And I try to bring in joy. I try to bring in meaning. I try to do the things that at least are available, which is very limited here. It's very scarce, which is hard. It's hard to create abundance in a very limited environment where there's a lot of scarcity and scarcity thinking, scarcity mentality. And then it made me think about terrain theory, not just around germs, but just this whole, our environment affects us. And right now, our environment is volatile. It's still volatile. It's been really deeply intense for the last 3.5 years. And time is speeding up. And I think the biggest thing that I see as a theme, and I ultimately think it's a really good thing, but it's really hard in the transitional period, is for decades, I think people have been going on autopilot. And kind of since the Industrial Revolution and the industrial education and the assembly line, and you work to live. You live to work, especially in Western culture. You live to work, and everything is about that. And it's a kind of slavery, right? People that love their jobs, that's great, and that's what we should be doing. But we're still in a system that basically enslaves us, because it's like you have to, or else you can't survive, and that's not good. That's not good on so many different levels. But what I'm noticing as the general theme is that people are starting to go, wait a second, why am I doing this? Does this have any meaning for me? That is the word that really stands out. Does this mean anything to me? And if it doesn't mean anything to me, I don't want to do it anymore. And I think that's like the assessment time that we're in right now. The review is like, well, shit, do I want to continue living the way that I've been living if it doesn't bring meaning to me, which therefore meaning inevitably comes with joy? Or if you do what brings you joy, it will bring you meaning. I think it's a simultaneous occurrence. But a lot of people have been doing stuff that doesn't feel meaningful and kind of just going on autopilot. And I think there's still many people that do that. And especially a society that pumps a lot of fear, you take the safe path. But I think on a deeper level, on a soul level, if you will, people are like, No, this isn't feeling enough. And even the old ways of doing it, even if it's pursuing something that we love and is deeply meaningful and inspiring for us, maybe it's the way that we've been doing it hasn't really been serving us, because we have been in a very masculine dominated environment. And what I mean by masculine is, again, not gender based, but very left brain. But even just on the very surface of the left brain, and very masculine, but I would say kind of an unhealthy version of the masculine, where everything is about do, achieve, succeed, accomplish, or else you are not worthy, or else you are not good enough. And we've altogether forgotten the feminine. And so we're needing, this is also a time of rebalancing, recalibrating. And, there's structures and systems that don't want that for us. They like to really create drama and division and chaos, and to make us forget our innate nature, and that we are a part of nature, and that we're incredibly wise and spiritual and intuitive and all of these things. So then I think we meet these kind of like these walls, and it feels like a kind of crisis. And then also we haven't been shown and taught that it's like, and that happens sometimes, and it's okay. That maybe it's not a failure, even though sometimes it really does feel like a failure. Or sometimes it just feels bloody hard, and then that's it. Like maybe that's reason enough, it's just hard. And then we maybe withdraw because there isn't the system, the support, the structure to be like, hey, we're here for you. And so you have to build your personal connections and your friends, but sometimes they struggle as well, And so I've been going, God, I feel like the fucking ground beneath my feet is crumbling. And yesterday, the thought that came into my mind was sometimes things have to unravel before they can be woven back together in new ways. And I think, yeah, you know how many times I've been here before? And yet, if I look back, I can say that, yeah, those times have been really hard, but there's always been something that's come through on the other side. But it really is a letting go. It really is a surrendering. It really is a trusting. And it's kind of, I guess, just breathing through that, like sometimes times are hard. They're rough. And the wall is painful because you keep on banging up against it. And, for me personally, there are times where I just think, God, I don't want to do this anymore. And it makes me feel really sad. It makes me feel really tender. It can feel really lonely sometimes. So, here I am. Here I am, and there are these moments, and I know I will always pull through. I know that about myself so well now, because I've been through it enough times to know that this is just the cycle of life. It ebbs and flows, and moves in cycles and circles, and it's not always an upward moving line. And just because we hit a wall, it doesn't mean that it's a failure, and it also doesn't mean that it's the end. I do have my moments where I'm like, enough. I can't, I can only take so much, and actually something has got to change. And I have a good argument with the universe, whether that's beneficial or not. Sometimes I just need to get the frustration out. And I'm still learning, wow, what is really the meaning of letting go? What is really the meaning of falling into flow? And then you might hear a lot of the Joe Dispenzas and the Abraham Hicks and all that. And it's like, I'm happy, I'm abundant, I have a great life, I love my life. Or really envisioning and believing and seeing and feeling the life that I want to step into. And I've done that a lot in my life. And actually I've done it really succinctly and successfully in my 20s. Some of my manifestations, they really happened. It was just uncanny. The precision of what manifested in relationship to my vision. And then again, it's like something about the energy of where I am right now. It's like, I can't manifest a thing. I feel like I'm in a swamp, like trudging through the mud, and I just can't. And so it's like, what's the lesson here? And I feel like, okay, if I'm being held here, what's the lesson? Yesterday, I had so much road rage because there's about 6 different times where it just, people were driving so badly. I had 2 people nearly run into me head on. Other 2 people that were going about 30 kilometers below the speed limit. I had about 2 tractors that I was behind. It was just like one of those things where I was like, okay, yes, you have to go super slow today. And, in the morning, I was like mad at it, really mad at it when I was bringing my daughter to camp. And I was so frustrated. And it's like, wow, I'm just always in the car, always with traffic. And it's just like, this is not how I want to be spending my time and my life. And then it kept on happening. And then by the end, I was just like, I was listening to a song that came up on Spotify that I was like, oh, that's a nice song. I want to learn how to sing that. And then I just was like, okay, just press, play that on repeat and get familiar with the song. And, I just took my time. So then I asked myself, well, why are we always in a rush? And it was, again, another, I guess, invitation of just like, there's nowhere you have to get to. Time is an illusion. There's no rush. Like if you're getting frustrated because you feel stuck, like I really felt the universe like, we are going to place one slow motherfucker in front of the other, in front of the other, in front of the other, until you stop trying and you stop fighting it and you stop getting mad and just relax. But it's not easy. I say it to my clients a lot. I'm not saying it's easy. It's simple, but it's not always easy because, especially if you're an emotional, passionate person like I am, sometimes you feel the feels, you have a lot in your body that you're experiencing. And sometimes I have to let it out. And sometimes I can come to a place of just being really super chilled and calm. And I've learned to not judge myself when I can't be calm, but I guess the cosmic joke is when we start to kind of see what's in front of us and just like, can I allow it? And I don't mean like, I'm not talking about like violence or abuse. That I don't mean that at all. That is a totally different topic. I'm just saying like, if you're hitting the wall, can I stop like going for it again? Can I stop going in with my head and like bashing myself up and just like allow? Take a step back, breathe. And so I felt like all of these slow cars were a symbol for that, just literally a symbol. And sometimes too, you got to like cry at the moon, as this woman was saying. Or sometimes, you need to go lie down and have a good cry, or you need to scream into your pillow. I think I'm just sharing this because it's like some days are like this. And I don't have an answer. And I don't have any great bit of wisdom other than just some days are like this and you have to breathe through it. And sometimes it happens day upon day upon day. And sometimes it'll be a week and sometimes it'll be a month. But the only constant is change, right? And I'm trying to really lovingly be self-aware and as much as I can to just be compassionate and to just acknowledge like I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. And what's interesting is that me just sitting here and talking about it like this and sharing and being vulnerable, I feel lighter. I think we often carry a heavy load because we're carrying it on our own. And I've been someone that has always been very responsible and self-reliant, and I've had to do a lot on my own in my life. And sometimes it's like, that's heavy. That's a big, that's a lot of baggage. Sometimes you got to put the suitcase down. You got to put the boulder down. And we don't need to pretend. We don't need to pretend. We don't need to put the facade, the mask on. I think it's also okay to sometimes say, I don't know. And I haven't known for several years now. And all I'm trying to do is just to listen and be open and be so bloody patient. And then I guess also the cosmic joke is like the only thing we have is now, is the here and now. And so, okay, can I be grateful for even the small things and yet still stay attuned to what my heart really desires? I don't know what the lesson is for me in this right now. I don't know why I'm being held. Sometimes I say to the universe, do you want me to be depressed? Do you want me to feel sad and frustrated? Is this the best use of my vital energy, my talents, my wisdom, my whatever I can offer? And I guess I just have to trust the process. And soften, let go, soften, let go, soften, let go, allow. And just keep my periphery vision open enough to see if maybe I need to turn my head a little bit more that way or this way, and trust that I'll know when to do that, rather than trying to force that also and trying to figure it out. We want to figure out the next step. We want to figure out our future. We want to know where we're going. There's always a freaking destination. And maybe we're just really being taught like present moment. Maybe you're not meant to get anywhere. I don't have the answers, folks. But if you're feeling it all like I've been feeling, just know that you're not alone. Know that there's nothing wrong with you. And we'll get to the other side. We'll get to wherever we're meant to be, I suppose. And sometimes it does take initiative, Yeah. Thank you for hearing. Thank you for being with me. I don't even know if any bit of that made sense. But thank you for being alongside me on this crazy, wild, wacky journey of being human that sometimes is just really bloody hard. And then it's equally beautiful. So here we go. The ride continues. Loving you from afar. You've been listening to Raw Conversations with Corinne Bloom. Thanks so much for showing up, listening in, and being a part of the conversation with me.